It has been practiced in multiple countries throughout the course of history. It has been found in numerous species in varying forms. Penguins do it for rocks in order to obtain shelter. Monkeys do it for bananas when food is scarce. Humans do it for money when finances are floundering. It has been referred to as the world's oldest profession. It is prostitution.
I started when I was younger. I did have some financial problems and I wanted to sort of sort that out pretty quick. When I was 14, I always wanted to be a stripper, but by the time I was 18, I thought I was too fat to be a stripper. So I think that I probably wasn't in the best place when I started, but it wasn't a matter of the work. Like, I was happy to, do that. It's more to take on the sort of stigma from general society and like worrying about what everyone else will think.
I never thought I was going to be hoeing or doing any drugs or any type of thing that I now am surrounded with, but when my family found out that I was dressed up like a girl, my mom slapped me. Faggot, get the fuck out. You're not embarrassed to the family, yada, 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 yada. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't even make my bed my life. Everything be handed to me. So I saw some of the girls that like me doing tricks. I'm like, do you think I can do that? When they say never, that's what it means. Because you never know what you're gonna end up.
My name's Susie Q. I'm an author, columnist for the San Francisco Weekly, a podcaster, and I'm a sex worker.
I'm Mickey Maud, and I'm an adult performer.
What kind of performer?
I work primarily in BDSM porn.
What do you do in the sex work industry?
Escort, I'm a pro-dom, I model for adult films.
My name is Venus Lux, my stage name, and my occupation is CEO, performer, model, anything in an adult industry, basically.
Workers. I really hate it when people ask me how much I charge. It's like inappropriate. Like, it would be weird if you
Like if someone asked me how much I make.
Yeah, it's weird. You don't do that. Oh, you're a sex worker? Can you tell me how to have a threesome with my wife? I'm like, no.
You must be really good at sex.
But do you enjoy it?
You'll never be in a relationship.
I kind of go like this.
I think the outside perception is that men in this industry are lucky and don't have any problems, and it's a dream job.
When we're talking about women doing sex work, everybody wants to talk about victims and exploitation.
I mean, it's funny that is the perception, but I think the women of the industry definitely run the show.
They're the stars of the show a lot of times.
Exactly. Generally, porn is made for a male audience. That is heterosexual, cis white male audience. That's what they want to see. I know, boring.
I'm speaking on both behalf of transgender men and women. We are like 10, 20 years behind. We only have like 5 companies that shoot transsexual pornography.
Because we live in a society where prostitution and a lot of sex work is criminalized, it does put a lot of people at risk. Have you ever feared for your own life in this industry?
I've definitely been scared about if someone robs me. My own body, I definitely fear if someone would assault me. Like, what would I do? Would I call the police? I don't know. It's daunting to know that you are not protected by the law.
I saw 10 dead bodies in my career as a police officer, and 4 of them were murdered prostitutes. And each one of these murders was very violent, a very bloody stabbing, a gunshot wound, a crushed skull. And the woman who was strangled to death wasn't found for days until people in the neighborhood started to complain about a bad smell coming from an abandoned car.
It's so dangerous. If people want to make our job less dangerous, it should be fully 100% decriminalized.
So in Northern Ireland, they've already incorporated the Swedish model, which is to criminalize the purchase of sex, and that's what they're trying to do here in the UK.
If buying sexual services is illegal, the only people who will come to see sex workers are folks who are already comfortable with breaking the law.
In New Zealand, people can work together for safety, and employers of sex workers are accountable to the state. A sex worker can refuse to see a client at any time, for any reason, and 96% of street workers report that they feel the law protects their rights. New Zealand hasn't actually seen an increase in the amount of people doing sex work, but decriminalising it has made it a lot safer. But the lesson from New Zealand isn't just that its particular legislation is good, but that crucially, it was written in collaboration with sex workers, namely the New Zealand Prostitutes Collective. When it came to making sex work safer, they were ready to hear it straight from sex workers themselves. Decriminalisation and legalisation are not the same thing. Decriminalisation means the removal of laws that punitively target the sex industry, instead treating sex work much like any other kind of work. People get really hung up on the question, or would you want your daughter doing it? That's the wrong question. Instead, imagine she is doing it. How safe is she at work tonight? Why isn't she safer?